Hey, okay, so I've made a video about creepy stories before, um, but this time I'm going to be talking about, like, some of my own personal experiences, which, we're gonna be going from more recent to, like, earlier on in my life. I don't know, I'm scared to talk about the first one because it's in the house I'm living in now. Because it's really creepy, and I guess we'll get into it. The first one, basically I moved to this rent house this, like, on January 1st, and this has happened twice, and okay, so I have trouble sleeping at night, right, like a lot of people, and that often means, I'm up really late, obviously. But this has happened twice, and I will hear faint, ragged breathing from the corner of my room. And why I said in the intro why I'm scared to talk about it, is because it is in a corner right there. Because I film in my bedroom. Like, y'all are propped up on my bed. I sit on the floor when I film. And I say I'm terrified to talk about because Sorry, I thought I heard something. It comes from that corner. I kid you not. It comes from right there. So, I don't know if something's... I don't know what it is. I have an EMF reader, but I'm kind of scared to use it. Which, now, what... But, the EMF reader is going to come in later. Anyways. But I don't know what this is. It could just be my imagination. We do have air purifiers. We've had them for about 2 years now, and they have never made sounds like this. So it's something I can consider. However, I have a feeling it's not that. For the most part, for as long as I can remember, I've always felt if an energy is off. I can't see ghosts. I'm not psychic or whatever. Or I don't know what they're classified as. I'm not trying to offend anyone here. Okay, here's what happens if I feel like an energy is off in a place or with a thing. My heart doesn't beat faster. Like, I've tested this. Like, I've felt my heartbeat. It never, ever beats, any faster than normal. It's usually slower, actually, but it feels tense. So I don't know if that's something, and it just feels worse the closer I get to something or the more I talk about it. Right now it's kind of being fast because I don't know what's going on in the corner of my room at 3 a.m. It's not really 3 a.m. It's more like 4:30 in the morning. No, I don't think I'm a psychic, but I do have a very good thing when it comes to feeling if things are off, and it's not paranoia. I don't get paranoid about supernatural things. If something happens, it happens. If something's there, it's there. I really don't care. It's just kind of odd sometimes, so I guess that is the more recent of my paranormal things. Second one is from last year in the rent house I lived before this one. And I have the doll over there because this one is about a doll that is possibly haunted. She's not very active, so the EMF reader that I got for Christmas last year typically doesn't work on her, but it does sometimes work pretty well. Like, I've seen it go up to, hold on, it's probably over there by the doll, actually. Ironic. I'm probably going to bring it over here in a minute. But the thing is, this was my great-grandmother's doll. My dad was her favorite, whatever. So now I have her doll, which if I look at a picture of her and the doll next to each other, they actually look fairly similar. I don't know if I'm going to feature that in this video. Probably not, but I'm going to go see if... I'm going to go get the doll, because it's right there. I can see her. It's a German doll. I don't know exactly how old she is, but I'm going to go get her regardless. Okay, I have the doll. I rarely take her out of her box, but I keep a little glass angel with her that I got from my mama, I believe, my dad's mother. I do take her out of the box sometimes. I took her out the first day I got her, which I had that, that feeling that something was odd, and I still do get it with her. Her hat's coming off. The bobby pins were lost, and her hat's coming off. I do try to be very careful when handling her. She's about the size of my head. I actually named her Ida after her original owner. The fun thing about this box is the original box she came in. There's the writing inside. There's where you can see where she was tied in. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Anyways, back to this original story here. Here, Ida, have your little glass angel back. I feel like it's gonna be better if I keep this little glass angel with her. I don't know. My brain tells me to. Back to the story. When I got her, things were normal at first. For the first, 3 weeks maybe. And then for a while there, she kind of kept. The first thing I had with her, I believe, is I was cleaning my room up for bed at night because it had been messy for a while and it was causing me to have worse sleep because I have OCD. But I also have ADD, so I never really got around to cleaning my room. But I was cleaning my room that night, straightening it up, doing whatever. And my blinds were closed. I had a front bedroom. I still have a front bedroom, but I had a front bedroom. So cars would often pass back and forth. But my blinds were completely closed, so there's no way I could see a shadow passing. But I was kind of just tired and out of it, but I snapped into it when I saw a shadow that was about this much taller than me, I want to say, pass by me. It was a skinny shadow, so it really couldn't have been a car. It was like a human shape. So I believe that was the first interaction I had with her. Then one night I woke up in the light and my lamp was on. It wasn't on a timer. Yes, it is remote controlled, but it was not on a timer. I keep it off at night. I rarely turn it on unless I'm, like getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or whatever. But I always turn it off, and I didn't get up that night. So, but for some reason it was on the next morning. Where was I? Sorry. She also liked messing with my old LEDs to the point I had to unplug them. They were LEDs attached to my dresser, right? And so it got so bad I had to unplug them just so she would stop messing with it. And I had this, okay, so I have a bunch of Christmas stuff that I put in my room. She really liked messing with lights and electrical stuff for some reason. I had this little Christmas thing. It was like one of those things that was like a projector and it span around, but the batteries went out years ago and I never replaced them because it was kind of like one of those things where I got when I was like 9 and then I grew out of it within the first week. So I kind of just let the batteries die out. And when I took them out after it was turning itself on, which it was on the off switch. It was on the off switch. And the batteries were so bad they had the acid stuff growing on them because I was 9. I wasn't going to think of taking the things out. Now I'm a teenager, and I guess I just kind of forgot about the batteries and stuff, and I kind of forgot about, plus it's packed up for most of the year, so it's not really, it's out of sight, out of mind, right? Another creepy thing is, with the way the box is, aged, the sides kind of fold inward most of the time, so she can't really move around in there. They kind of close her in, but one morning I woke up and I have a bookcase. It's like right there. I can see it. It's where she sits. She always sits on the top shelf. well, not the top shelf, but like I don't know. And one morning she was leaned forward. Her head is always straight most of the time. Which I never move her head unless it's like, like messed up or something. I don't know. But she was leaned forward. Okay, so like imagine my bed is right here. I'm the doll on the shelf. My bed's over there. She was leaned forward one morning. I just heard a creak upstairs. Not the best time to hear for that to hear that. Sorry, stuttering. And she was leaned forward, head turned like that, looking at me. I've never felt bad about her. Like, I've never gotten an evil vibe from her. But I don't know. It's my grandmother. I don't know. But yeah, that was the second most recent experience I've had, I believe. Yeah, so let's go to the next one. All right, this next one, actually, this one happened, okay, I want to say 2 years ago. I want to say this happened 2 years ago because that's, yeah, 2 years ago, yeah, probably, or at least a year and a half ago. We were in the process of moving out of our house to moving to the house we were in before this when I got her at the last house. We were in the process of moving to that house. And for some reason, I've always had panic attacks to the point where I'm like bawling my eyes out and I can't like control my own brain. So I guess I'll be labeled an anxiety attack or something. I don't know. I don't really know the difference. But I've always been really prone to them, especially in the past few years. And so I was just laying there in my bed for some reason, crying at night. I was having a panic attack type deal, and it was just really bad. And also during that time, I don't have the radio anymore, but during that time I had a radio. And I never played CDs in it because it was technically a CD player mixed with a radio. And I would play this, I don't remember the name of the radio, but it was one of the ones that like, oh, we take in callers, and depending on the story, we'll play something. And this person's story was a very, very happy celebratory story. So they started playing like a lot of happy, joyful, good meaning songs for them. And just for a bit of backstory, I have an Aunt Angie. Jesus Christ, my brother's moving around upstairs. I had an Aunt Angie, right? I don't really remember her because she died when I was very young. She considered me one of her daughters. She was a family friend. She had a glass eye. She was really cool, apparently, according to my siblings. She treated me like her own daughter and everything. Like, if my parents came through the door with me, she would snatch me and just take me for the rest of the time. Because she had one biological daughter, an adopted daughter. She wanted another biological daughter, but she couldn't. So I think she kind of just took me in whenever my parents were around, treating me like her own daughter. And she passed away when I don't know how old I was, but it was young enough to where I don't remember her, unfortunately. I wish I did. Sorry, I zoned out. Sorry. And her favorite song was Purple Rain by Prince, right? Not the happiest song in the world, so not a song you would play for a celebratory thing. Anyways, in the depths of this panic attack, Purple Rain, in the middle of a song, I don't remember what the song that was originally playing was, but in the middle of that song, Purple Rain started to play. I don't know if you could classify that as a creepy story, but it's almost like okay, there's these things. I believe in guardian angels, and I also believe in guardian spirits. Spirits that are like family or close friends or who loved you dearly. Some it's their grandparents, some it's an old friend, some it's a family member they met or don't remember. It could be anyone. It could be anyone who died. But and they're kind of like coming back as a spirit to guard you and protect you. I haven't had any experiences like that again, but I do remember it just instantly calmed me down, and I just stopped crying, and like, I don't know, middle of the song I fell asleep. I don't know what that was about. I feel like it was a coincidence, but I like to think it was Aunt Angie coming back, being like, okay, kid, calm down. Here, listen to my song. I don't know. She was a very fun lady, according to my family, so let's see if I can remember a few other stories. Okay, this one, I think this one was a sleep paralysis thing. I've never had sleep paralysis, but I think I've had it one time in the first house I remember living in. We've moved around a lot in my life, but in the first house I remember living in, you know those, like, who is Marie Antoinette? I don't remember the exact, names of the books, but anyway, I have one on King Tut, and I have one on Marie Antoinette, I believe, or I don't have one on they have a show. That's where I heard about Marie Antoinette. I had one on Marie Curie, though. Icon. But they had a show, and they would have people dress up like in theater and act and tell out these stories of these people in little episodes. And one of them, the one I mostly remember, and I think about this at least once a month, at least, maybe more, is the one they had on Marie Antoinette. That story scared the heck out of me. Because, like, you know, I was, like, what? Maybe, like, 7, watching this story about a lady having her head chopped off. So I always skipped that episode whenever it came up. I mean, I watched it a few times because I would, like, re-watch the show even though I already memorized it. And then all of a sudden one night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I just see Marie Antoinette's head pop through my wall in front of me. I couldn't move. But if I could take off the mask, I would show you the kind of face she made, but she had this super wide, creepy grin, and she was just looking around, and her eyes landed on me, and her eyes went like, oh, my neck popped. And then her head went back in, and this wasn't a nightmare. I was wide awake. I couldn't move. So I think that was, like, the only case of sleep paralysis I've ever had. I told my family the next day, sorry, I had to cut for a second. I told my family the next day, and they were like, oh, sweetie, it's fine. It was probably just a nightmare. No, it was not a nightmare. I was wide awake, which I've never brought it up since that day. But it lives in my head rent-free, obviously. I was 7 and I witnessed my first thing of sleep paralysis. So, yeah, Marie Antoinette's head is my sleep paralysis demon. Yeah. I'm trying so hard to remember another one. Oh, okay, I think I have one more. I don't know if this one might get a little bit dark. If I'm being completely honest with you, this one might get a little bit dark. In my first paranormal video, I mentioned in the last bit, in the end of the video, I mentioned the ghosts that used to live in the very first house I lived on. It was in short terms, little girl ghost, old lady ghost, basically like a grandmother who had the hots for my oldest brother, I don't know, and a little girl who was just basically a little girl. The neighborhood was built on an Indian slave burial ground. they were basically just like, they were chill. They were nice. They liked messing around with us or whatever, but they never did anything bad. Anyways, this one's kind of dark, but I would have had a twin, right? But you know, now this wasn't a cannibalism in the womb type deal. No, they died too early for that. I hate it when I tell people that I had a twin, but they died in the womb, and they were like, "Oh, did you eat them?" I didn't, ma'am. I didn't have anything developed yet. Okay, leave it alone. But sorry, I'm just adjusting my mask. It's too wrinkled around my face and it's bothering me. Oh, there we go. Finally. Anyways, but my parents would tell me, first of all, I didn't cry when I was born. I kind of just came out looking around. And when we got home, apparently I didn't cry a lot as a baby. But according to my dad, and my dad has said this before, apparently I would just stare off into the distance and then just start laughing as an infant, like in a crib. He said that he thought one day, he thought, I wonder if she can see her twin. Which, you know, that it's not impossible. I mean, little children and animals are way more likely to see ghosts and stuff and spirits and paranormal things. They are way more likely to see that than anyone grown. Last thing I want to share with you is another thing about my twin. He visits me in dreams. I kid you not. He comes in saying, "Hi, I'm Hunter," and it's kind of weird. We kind of just talk like we've known each other our entire lives. But growing up, I remember seeing a little boy ghost all my life. But no, he started showing up in my dreams every now and then after I started talking. So I've had my twin brother in my dreams growing with me. So we just talk. That's all I have time for today. So that's pretty much all my paranormal experiences personally. So I guess I'll see you on another video. Bye.